So we talked a little bit about that you went to church. How did that impact your spiritual development when you were younger? Did it, or was it that later on in life is where you kind of found the Lord and found your spiritual?
I found the Lord so many times and threw the Lord away so many times in my life. I really look forward to Sundays with Grandma. I really, really did, because she was really terrific. I don't know if it was Grandma or Turtle, but I thought both of them were really cool.
Yeah.
But it was a fun day. There's a picture I know that floats around the internet of me riding on my dad's back, and that's actually in front of Grandma's house after church one day. And so that was my first installment into it at a very, very young age. The second installment was that my mother, in 1954, we were all baptized Catholic on December 8th, 1954, Feast of the Immaculate Conception. My mother had put me into Catholic school, and my sister Maureen went to Immaculate Heart. I went to St. John's. I used to call it Manchester Alcatraz, but it was a military academy, and then to Loyola High School, what have you. But we were brought up Catholic by my mother. And so that's how I was raised. What was interesting was, as I got older, I moved in with my dad when I was 14, because my mother had moved to Lido, Ohio. Loyola High School was 30 minutes from Dad's house. Moved in with him, and every Sunday he would get up, get Patty ready and Nancy ready, and then Ron ready to go to Bel Air Press and leave me behind. And I asked him one time, I said, "Why are you leaving me behind?" He said, "Your mother raised you Catholic, and I don't want her to be upset." I said, "Well, that makes sense." What a lot of people don't know, my mother was buried as the Dominican nun of the Third Order in the Catholic Church.
How about that?
So it's kind of interesting. But I really left the church and left God and left everybody when I was very young, for probably parts of my books you've read, being sexually abused. I did a whole thing with Focus on the Family at one point about that. And I walked away from it. I walked away from God, really very angry, very mad. And then a very wonderful Christian girl came into my life, Colleen. And we met, in 1973, married in 1975. But I was still dealing with anger and blaming God for everything known to mankind. And finally, she just called me on it. So why are you blaming God for everything? Time for you to just get over it. And I got down on my knees for the first time and just said, God, I'm sorry, help me out here. And it still took time, and I tell people today, I wish I could be one of those people who accepted Christ this afternoon and I was better by dinner. But I'm always a work in progress. And I think that's a more honest answer, because I think most of us are works in progress.
Sure.
And so, I'm a work in progress, and it works out pretty well. But it's ultimately what brings my father and I back together, other than the ranch, other than riding horses, other than shooting ground squirrels and all of those things. Ultimately, it brings my father and I back together through a bond in Christ, not a bond in going to the ranch on a regular basis.